Superman was really good. There's something special about this universe. This is the first movie in a long time that after 2 hours, I was thinking, I want to go back and watch it again. Like immediately. I wanted to go and watch it in the same day. I didn't because, movie tickets are expensive, but I plan on seeing it again this week because I want the experience that I went through watching that movie. I want to feel the hope that David Corenswet's Superman made me feel. I want to see him fight for the morality of his actions. And I want to see him justify that what he's doing is right. Not because he wants complete control over everything, but because he knows what he's doing is right. I want to see him save more people, more random people that maybe he doesn't know, maybe he's chatted with before, or maybe he doesn't know. I want to see him save a squirrel again. A fucking squirrel. I want to see him do that again. I remember the first time I gained a strong interest in Superman. I was working a desk job at my community college and I really wasn't doing anything. So during that time I was watching a lot of animated DC movies. So I put on Superman vs. the Elite, which is a movie based off of the comic What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. In this movie, he goes head to head with a group of anti-heroes who believe that they should be judge, jury, and executioner. And for some reason, the way Superman acted, the way he gave his speeches in that movie, made me really like the Man in Blue. Because think about it, Superman just wants to do good for the whole world without trying to be controlling or some type of dictating God. When this movie brought up the same plot point where he's interrupting the conflict between Bravia and Jaranpur. Jaranpur. I'm sorry. Please. I was really happy with that because that kind of hits at the core of Superman's morality. He doesn't represent any government. He just represents what's good. I don't want to get ahead of myself glazing this movie, so let's talk about the good, the bad, and the legendary. The action was pretty solid in this movie. When you compare it to Man of Steel, it's not as grand, I guess, or as hard-hitting, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm going to be honest, Man of Steel really just feels like a Michael Bay movie. One amazing thing about this movie is that Jimmy Olsen isn't killed off in the first 3 fucking seconds because why not? Jimmy Olsen is actually fucking useful in this movie, He's the charmer and he gets information on where Superman's being held. It's great because we don't just get to see him get clapped for some reason. It's so stupid. Lois Lane also actually does something in this movie that matters. It's incredible. No disrespect to Amy Adams because, she's a fine actress, but her character was really dumb, really stupid. She just kind of existed for Superman to save her most of the time. Superman didn't save her once during this movie, which, she's no longer the damsel in distress, so that's great. Lois Lane is supposed to be one of the original girl boss characters, right? Her actions are usually very impactful on the story, and in this one, she convinces the Justice Gang to help Superman out during his time of need. And even though Jimmy's a bigger part of this, she also helps get the story out that Lex was trying to get his own country. Batman v Superman tried to get Lois more involved with her proving that Superman wasn't the one that killed those people in the I'm pretty sure it's like an African country. I have no clue. But that all ended up getting scrapped towards the end simply because Doomsday showed up and there was no need for that news story that she was writing to come out because Lex had freed Doomsday. So it makes every scene with her before that just filler for no reason. And in the first movie, she didn't do anything either. So she really was just there to be a damsel in distress. I like the plot of this movie. It's got some, with the war between Bravia and the other country that I'm not going to pronounce his name, because I'm gonna fuck it up again. It's got some undertones of a real life war going on right now, but I think it serves its purpose well because it's having Superman, an American character, go over to a non-American country and interfere in a foreign war. It's something that would have implications on the American government, and they'd have to answer whether or not Superman represents them, despite Superman not wanting to represent them, which I think is a great point of conflict for his character. Of course, we've got Lex Luthor at the top of it all, and I'll talk a lot about him later, but I kind of want to use this as a segue into the bad about the movie. I do not like that Lex was the mastermind behind the war. This could have just been another foreign conflict that Lex saw as an opportunity to gain something. I really dislike when movies try to connect every single thing that it happens in the movie in some way. Like, some things can just be independent of everything else going on. I think that gives movies more realism when there are independent things happening in the story that other characters just react to instead of being at the helm of or personally influencing. There's also no conclusion really to his Kryptonian parents and them wanting him to, I guess, rule like a god over these people. Obviously, Clark has a conclusion himself, but the people of the world don't. They have like 2 scenes to react to him or his parents, his message. But then after that, everyone just forgets it when he stops Lex Luthor. I understand that the Justice Gang may be easy to forget it just because they trust Superman a bit more, but the rest of the world, it doesn't really make sense. We didn't even get a scene showing that they were still skeptical about it or that they now trusted him. We didn't get anything. It kind of just got thrown to the side once Superman decided that he wasn't going to follow what his parents said. Of course, we have to talk about the humor. For the most part, I don't actually mind the humor. I think if Superman didn't have any humor to him, he'd be a robot, or he'd be just like Henry Cavill Superman, who didn't seem to make any jokes, which is unrealistic. Every person in the world makes at least one joke. Even the most stern people joke around a little bit. My dad, one of the most serious and scariest person that I had known growing up, shout out to you, he makes jokes all the time. So my problem isn't with the jokes necessarily, it's that some of the jokes seemed a bit out of character, but they were the jokes that were already shown in the trailers. So outside of those, I didn't really have much problem. So the joke with Mr. Terrific and him didn't really land for me. And then the other one with Crypto knocking him around, that part wasn't necessarily terrible, but I feel like it was that one camera shot where they like have it right on his face and he like screams out really loud. That was a bit much to me. Nonetheless, I really like the whole humor behind him dealing with Crypto, considering Crypto's not his dog. I mean, Superman's a young character at this time. I think he's mid-20s. He's around David Cornsweet's age, so maybe mid to late 20s. And I think for him struggling with his dog as a younger guy is really fitting. Now let's talk about Cornsweet. He's all right. I really do like him as Superman. I don't think anyone else, well, maybe I think a few other people could have been Superman as well, but I think he's a good pick for Superman. And he really carried himself as Superman during this movie, which was great. But at times it did feel like he was a little bit too much of just David Cornsweet as opposed to Superman. Some of the times he yelled, he lost a bit of the boldness in his voice. Some of the times he talked, he just lost that boldness as well. It's something that I hope gets better with time, but it's not something I'm going to freak out if it doesn't change because, like I said, he's a really good Superman. So we talked about the good, we talked about the bad. Let's talk about the legendary. Crypto the Superdog. He's so goddamn adorable. If I could choose to have him in every single movie, I would. He's just such an adorable ass dog. Despite him being such a little shit, it's great to see him on screen. Because all he is just a rambunctious puppy, which, you know, everyone knows how it is to deal with a rambunctious puppy. Now imagine that dog, that puppy, being from Krypton, where you basically can't control it at all. All the extra characters in here, while people were saying, or some people online were saying it was just a bit much, I really like it because it feels lived in. Just like some other superhero universes that we have gotten in the past. Like think about Invincible and The Boys. Both of those shows, we entered a lived in universe. There were already tons of superheroes out there and we just were along for the ride, learning about them as we went. I really liked the feeling that those shows gave me when I first started watching them. And I'm glad that this universe is taking the same approach. Because come on, who didn't like Guy Gardner in that movie? He was great. I need him in the Lanterns TV show. I don't care about Hal Jordan. I don't care about Jon Stewart. I want Guy Gardner. I also really love the film style of this movie. We mixed the Superman theme with a bunch of rock music, which I thought was a nice little twist on it. I liked it. And on top of that, the actual filming, we had a lot of times where the camera was just panning around, which, you know, I love shots like that a lot more than just a bunch of cuts. On top of that, we got a bunch of amazing shots during this movie, including Superman using his heat vision on all those guys who didn't die, by the way. They didn't die. He just like disabled their armor. I can't remember exactly, but I think he saved a woman in her car, and there was like an explosion, and he just raises out of the explosion. And that scene was incredible. Of course, he saved the squirrel. I love that scene. I don't know what it is, but I really like that he saved the squirrel. And the best of all, the best part of this movie, Superman versus Lex Luthor. I really love that Lex Luthor is just on big hater energy in this movie. And while I kind of don't like that he wanted to have his own country, I love that no matter what, he still had that big hater energy towards Superman. Like, these two literally have a whole ass argument at the end of the movie, which I really like, because Superman got to give a monologue on why he's Superman and what he stands for, and Lex got to strike back, talking about how much of a hater he truly was. That is the dynamic that I love about those two. And I think it adds to the fact that Lex and Superman are practically the same height, which is great because in the animated universe, Lex was jacked, right? He was big, he was buff, and he was tall. I'm glad that they made sure that at least Lex was the same height as Corn Sweat. And it also looks like Nicholas Hoult may have buffed up for this movie. He was wearing a suit the whole time, but it's clear that he had some muscle under there. So I'm wondering if in a future movie, we are going to see Lex Luthor maybe with some powers to fight back against Superman. But yeah, this movie is just, a lot of this movie was just all I wanted out of a Superman movie. I really enjoyed my time watching it. I want to watch it again. I will later this week. So it's just great. Please let me know what you thought of Superman in the comments. Let me know what you rated it out of 10. I think I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. Really, really good. I really liked it. But yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments. Subscribe for more videos. I'm trying to put one out at least once a week, maybe more. And as always, thanks for watching.